Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Between Realities VR podcast. It's your favorite VR podcast. It's the best VR podcast, and you are here on the home of everything Between Realities, Between Realities. My name is Alex VR. I am co-host of this magnificent and amazing broadcast, and if you haven't tuned out yet, because I'm being an asshole, thank you. I am joined here by my co-host, Skiva. Skiva, dude, what is up, man?
Oh, dude, not much, man. I've been having so much fun in VR this week and just chatting with the community and just hanging out with people, and it's been super awesome. So I'm super excited for today's show.
Dude, you are the best person in virtual reality.
Oh,
I just
thanks,
want you to know
man.
That. You are the
super
best.
Nice of you. Wow.
He is the best. And I know that everyone in chat here who has joined us today agrees with me. The guy's everywhere. He's going to guide you into an amazing VR experience. All you have to do is say, hi, Skiva, and he's like, come with me. I will take you to the promised land. And it's amazing. And it's an honor to be here with you, sir.
Right on, dude.
Boom.
Absolutely. Same with you, buddy.
Hey, everybody in chat. How you doing? Dude, German Rifter's here today.
German Rifter.
Live.
What is up, homie?
He's
How are you, man?
Live, catching the
Right
broadcast.
on. What's
Dude,
up?
Great to see you, Daniel. I know that it's usually too late or whatever. We're going to play around with some times, okay? It's just for you, too, Daniel. So get ready.
And some glitch.
And glitch, of course.
We love our glitch Fandango as well. Yeah,
glitch Fandango does not often
German
get to see it
Rifter,
live.
man.
Both you dudes. We're going to
Love
do
you
some
guys.
earlier episodes, so get ready for it. Paradise Decay, who's always here.
P. Diddy, what's up?
He's like the mod. Like, do we have other mods? I think it's just
No.
me.
Hey, if anyone in chat guys want to kind of help with the mod stuff so we don't have to click as many buttons, let me know.
He said
That'd
we're
be cool.
too fast.
We are.
As
We're
soon
kinda
as we
on it.
See it. We like let it through because someone will be like, "Oh, whatever, man, shut the fuck up," and like it won't go through on chat because like
when you
it's
cuss and
filtering
stuff,
that. There must be words. We can probably fix that.
Yeah, we can. I think we can just let everything through.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, whatever. I don't know. We'll play around with that
figure it
too.
out.
Duty does. What's up, man?
Duty, what's up, my man?
What's up, dude? He is here. Creeper Betty in the house.
Creeper Betty,
Glad you got
what's
to come by,
up?
Creeper Betty.
What's
She
happening?
gave me my PSVR adapter for the PS5.
Sweet.
Good looking out, girl.
Thank you.
QTC, the VR gamer. Yo. What's yo,
Heck yeah.
everyone?
Sweaty Nugget JJ. It's my little homie in the house there. What's going on?
Sweat Nug J Jizzle. John Westra. John Westra with the
What's up,
verified
John Westra?
check mark flexing on everybody. As
Wow,
always, good to see him.
nice.
Mash Daddy Cool is here, dude.
What's up, dude?
He's like a virtual stranger at this point, right? Like full
Yeah,
blown.
man.
It's pretty dope.
That guy's doing all kinds of great stuff in the VR community. He's got his own show. He's got Virtual Strangers. He's got a killer Quest community on Facebook with like 150,000 people in it or something.
Dude.
It's crazy. He's doing great things for VR.
That's a
man.
good way to get
Just-
shit started.
Yeah.
Like a fucking Facebook group. Like
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're the admin and there's like 20,000 people a part of your group and they start taking you
or with
seriously.
him, 150,000 or something like that. It's
Yeah,
crazy. Good job,
exactly.
man. Good job.
Sterling Young Man, this is pre-recorded, right? Wrong. We're naming everybody by name right now, and I'm sure you figured that out. I don't know.
Space Denizen, which is Void Citizen. What is up, homie? I
Black
was
Market Honey.
playing with him last night.
Dude, our Swedish friend, been leaving comments, man. Thank you for leaving comments
dude.
on our videos.
Thank you.
Really appreciate that. Oh, holy shit! Glitch Fandango is here.
Yeah, what's up, Glitch?
Yo, it's okay if you pass out, man. We'll let it slide, you know. Oh, and dude, there's another verified tag in here, Michael Sitarzuski.
Oh, what's up, Michael? How are you? How's
That
it
was
going,
pretty
dude?
good, right? The pronunciation.
That was pretty good.
Not too bad.
Nail that.
Not
with
too
names.
bad. We've also got Laszlo 216, and if anybody else is trying to get in on this sweet ass fucking shout out session, this is the time because we're getting ready to move.
Did we say Obscure Nerd Andy is here? Because I think we're going to be hanging out with him next week in Los Angeles.
I hit him up.
Nice. So if anyone's in LA, we're doing a killer panel. Virtual reality, the future of video gaming, or the future of gaming, right?
That's a pretty dope ass title.
Right? I know. Me and Alex are moderating it. Los Angeles Comic Con. Come on over, say hi, watch the panel, watch me freaking pant and like try not to pass out on stage because I hate being in front of people.
Yeah, right. You know that because Daddy's gonna be there, everything's gonna be okay. Skiva was freaking out because he was gonna do this panel without me. Last time he tries that, right?
Yeah. No, thank you.
Christopher
Alex.
Christensen, thanks for being here. Also, SoulFox Gaming.
Soul Fox, dude. What's up, buddy?
My buddy Fox.
What's up?
Hey, dude. Thanks for coming by, brother. Good to see you.
What is that?
All right. That was enough.
That
all
was
right? If you haven't said anything in chat yet, you fucking missed your chance. Okay? You show up here, you say something. Okay? Don't just sit there and wait to get to the very end. Now what? We have to elongate our beginning because you didn't want to weigh in earlier?
Do what you want. Do what you want. Whatever.
Peter's like, stop it. Please stop
Whatever.
it. You're being mean to them. All right. Today on the show,
Dun, dun, dun.
we have a lady here who is near and dear to the industry that I spend most of my time contributing to, right? And that is the industry of haptics. Everyone here knows that we are first big fans of Haptics. Secondly, I represent Haptics, so they definitely come up often in our conversations and stuff. But Haptics, you know, which is primarily what ends up coming up here in our conversation, certainly is not the entire extent of the haptics industry.
Right.
You know, we see it often because it's definitely the consumer haptics. It's what is available for us. It's what YouTubers are using and stuff like that. But the haptics industry is a whole big old huge situation.
Yeah, it's
man.
huge. It's not just for VR either, but I mean, that's what we care about, right? Bringing another sense into our virtual experience. So
Absolutely. And it's a pivotal part of it. And our guest today is 100% in the world of haptics. She is the host of the Haptics Club, which is a Twitter Spaces show that eventually becomes a podcast. She works in the haptics industry, and she's going to tell us all about haptics as we get into it today. Please welcome to Between Realities, Ashley Huffman. Hello, my lady.
Hey guys. Hello.
How's it going,
to be
Ashley?
here.
Good to have
Thanks for
you.
that really great intro. As you know, I'm a huge fan of Haptics. Huge fan. Super cool.
Yes, as you should be. And you know, we took our time with the intro today. You know, it's like, you know, relax a little bit and make sure that we efficiently explain what's about to happen. You know, so we're super excited to have you on, and we're really glad that you had the time to come and join us here on the Between Reality spaceship.
Yeah, heck yeah. Love this topic. And like you said, it's a huge topic. There's like immense things we can go into, but VR is my happy place and haptics is an integral part of that. So I am jazzed to be here to jam with you guys on it for sure.
Hell yeah.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you coming by and chatting with us. It means a lot.
We
Thank
also
you so much.
appreciate the Arcanian VR. It's live, man. I said your name and I'm responding to you. So it is live right now. We've also got Gamertag VR here. Absolute
What's up, GT?
titan of virtual reality
Heck yeah.
video content creation.
Yep,
The
yep.
guy is an absolute monster and we love him dearly. German Rifter, though, flying in with the £5 super chat to kick off the craziest super chat train. Just kidding. Cheers to the most badass woman in VR. Boom, from German Rifter.
Aw,
He paid money to say
he's-
that.
a literal legend.
Yep.
So that's so awesome.
Agreed.
He really
Agreed.
is. Dude, he's a legend. Frankly, this entire fucking chat is legends right now. Smash Reality, J Brat,
Wow, what's up?
Chris
What's
Haney from Space Pirate,
Wow, what's up?
Rise
How's it
the
going?
King. Everybody's up in here.
What's up, guys?
Thank you guys for
What's up?
joining us.
Dude,
It is so awesome.
Real quick, J-Brat just did 10 straight days in VR.
Sleeping on a live stream with a fucking headset on.
And with like a Quest on, hanging out in an Index all day, getting into all kinds of craziness, man. And wow, it was just so cool. It was so cool to pop in all the time and like, how you doing? Like, see how the whole thing was working out. And he killed it, man. It was super entertaining. Everything, it was awesome.
I had a great moment when I popped into his stream and guess what he was doing? Hanging out with Skiva in Neos. I'm like, hey, I know that guy. That's Neo. Hey.
Totally, man. You know, I think I saw one of his thumbnails said 10 days in the metaverse. I was like, oh, the metaverse, you must be hanging out in Neos, right? Apparently, like, Neos isn't like as important to everyone as it is to me.
Apparently.
Right?
Very apparent.
We are going to get into a little bit more Neos talk in a little while because there's a few things we do want to talk about Neos.
Well, where do you want to start then? Because I feel like this is the time.
It is the time, but I do kind of, I think the thing I really want to talk about, well, first of all, let's get into some crazy sales that have been happening, because not sales like sales, but the Quest 2 hit 10 million headsets sold, and that is huge, right? That's so big because we're about to get to Christmas. That number is going to go through the roof even further. And that's just Quest 2s. This doesn't include Quest 1s. This doesn't include PlayStation VR. This doesn't include Oculus Rift and Rift S and the Valve Index and the HTC Vive and Vive Pro and all these headsets, man. Our adoption right now is going through the roof, and the shit is happening. Like, VR is becoming a thing, and it just makes me excited. You know me, I don't really care to be like, oh, Quest, you know, like Meta, whatever. But like, it's just awesome to see this number, right? Because according to Meta, right, that is like the magic number, and that's just for that one platform. So we're really, man, it's getting big.
It is getting big. And I think it's worth mentioning too that when Facebook was like crunching numbers or whatever, and they're like getting into the VR space, they said something along the lines of like, that was the number that they projected was necessary to have a self-sustaining ecosystem exist in virtual reality. So the fact that that number has now been achieved at least is evidence that it's growing at a rate that they thought was possible, and that it's at a point now where hopefully it should be good. It should be able to run itself, and before we know it, like, it's treated just as seriously as all the other technologies that we use on a daily basis.
That's huge, man, because, you know, there's very few things in life that I believe in as much as virtual reality. So it's great to see this industry growing.
And honestly, it's great that there's Quests out there right now. Like, because if you want to go get one, you can. They're like, hey, buy a Quest, get $50 off of this, or $50 off at Best Buy, or
get $50
whatever.
Gift card to buy games and stuff.
They're like making it really easy to buy a Quest right now, which is the perfect timing to do it. And it's amazing because now people will get into VR at the price that they're supposed to get into VR at in today's world anyway. You know, because like, I was on eBay the other day. I was just talking to Steve about this because I had to send my PS5 in for repair. The network doesn't work. And I went on eBay, and people are selling open box PS5s on eBay for insane fucking numbers, dude. Like, it is ridiculous. Like, thousands of dollars. Like $5,000 for a fucking used PlayStation 5. And that is ridiculous. And I'm so happy that there aren't people out there, like kids, who are like begging for Quest 2s that, I mean, Facebook and kids aside, okay? There are young people who want to get into virtual reality who, if there's no fucking headsets, they can't, or their parents have to pay the prices that are too much to pay to get into it at this point. But now you can go get the $200 Quest, give it to somebody for Christmas, change their fucking lives. Pretty cool.
Yeah, hope everyone here is giving a headset to someone for Christmas this holiday season.
Yeah, in Canada, they're actually starting to get limited. So I think for anyone who saw, I think Oprah's Christmas list, it's on her wish list. Like, oh gosh, it's just a race to snag them. Dude. But yeah, it's limited here. So it's like
Oprah really Winfrey is talking about the Quest and about virtual reality.
Did she talk about it, or did it just show up on some kind of arbitrary list?
No, it was like her like gadget of the year or something, wasn't it? It was like a kind of big deal.
And she's like, I just love this thing. I put it on. And like, did she like say stuff like that? I don't know. I don't watch.
I read some stuff, but I don't watch Oprah either.
Yeah, fair enough. Christopher Christensen, yo, $10 super chat. Can we please drop the confetti for this?
Thank you.
That's right.
Someday you'll get those buttons right.
I will. Maybe if you label them for me, like we have to continuously. I want stickers, clip art stickers. It's the only way it's going to get done.
Make it magnet so you can troll him later. It's fine.
Yeah. Thank you, Christopher.
Thanks, Christopher. Appreciate that.
We love you. Midlife Gamist VR in the house. What's up, Midlife?
Man?
Good to see you.
Doing?
It's been a minute. Hey, what's up, Nathy? Dropping in.
What's up, Nathy? How you doing?
Nathy wants to know, Ashley, are you going to do any signing sessions after the show? I think he wants an autograph.
Aw, I want his autograph. He's so cool.
All right, everybody, just stick around after the show. Ashley will be doing autographs for everyone. You're just going to have to hang tight and please be patient, okay? Also, have your pocketbooks open and ready.
So real quick, one of the things I wanted to talk about, besides the numbers of VR going through the roof, which is so awesome, and it makes me so happy that so many people are getting what I get. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just great. Yeah. But there's a game that I've been obsessed with the past couple days, and really for a little while, because I've had the opportunity to follow this game's development very closely because I work for the company and I get to see things that I can't talk about, and it's just been an amazing ride. And now people are starting to play this game, and so After the Fall is the name of the game. and it is so friggin' good. It is so good. Like, I've been having a blast playing this game. You hop in with 4 friends and you go out on these harvest runs, right? And you're just like, you're out there, you're in this crazy post-apocalyptic Los Angeles, California that's covered in snow, and there's this new breed of zombie called the snow breed that is adapted to this weather and all this stuff. And it is so cool. And to go through with your friends, and it's not easy by any means either, right? Like you run out of bullets, your team's going to carry you, and it's so much harder for them to get through some of these hordes because the hordes in this are absolutely ginormous. It's like 30, 40 zombies coming at you at a time. I mean, and the bodies don't disappear either. They just stack. There's blood everywhere.
I do like that.
It's so cool, man. It is just so cool.
So is this Left 4 Dead in VR? Because that's what everyone is like. That's
Pretty
like
much.
kind of the saying. It's like, yeah, it's Left 4 Dead in VR.
Yeah,
It's like
I
what
mean-
we thought it was going to be, and that's what it is.
Pretty much.
I mean, I'm going to
Pretty
jump
much.
into it this weekend.
It's
but-
so fun, man, because like you really have to be like, you have like they're not, everything isn't just coming at you from the front, right? Like you think, oh, I cleared everything back there. Now you go forward, you're taking out 30 things that are coming at you over here, and all of a sudden there's a whole horde of shit behind you.
Dude.
It's absolutely insane.
And in VR, that's a lot to deal with.
It
man.
is.
Like I get really anxious in VR when I know that my 6 is not covered. Do you play games like this, Ashley?
I do, but I'm such a chicken that it's just a disaster for everyone involved. But I'm really hyped to try this one because I've heard such amazing things about the multiplayer that it's like, I've already warned people. I'm like, I'm getting this and you're going to need to cover me. And I'm going to be screaming the entire time. But, let's play. Let's definitely play.
That's awesome. I want to hop in with you. That'd be a good time because like it's been so cool going through this game with people who haven't played it yet and just hearing the reactions, like just people's minds being blown because Vertigo is doing something pretty special here. Having a lot of enemies on screen at the same time while maintaining high frame rates is a difficult thing to do from a development perspective, from what I hear, right? I mean, I don't develop, but I mean, this is the type of thing that I hear that you can't have like piles and piles of enemies coming on and then leaving the bodies there too, and then spraying everything full of blood. And it's just absolutely nuts. And these guys are like, they're really nailing it right now. There are some bugs that have been happening in the playtest. I don't want you to think this game is perfect at this time, but I feel like this is what a playtest is for. So they can figure this stuff out, see where the problems are going to happen, and then nail them before the game officially releases, which is on December 9th.
Well, it's insane at this point, but it's almost like if they can put out a game on day 1 that doesn't immediately require a like day 2 patch to like fix extremely glaring issues that should have been fixed from the very fucking beginning, like snap turning or smooth or like whatever it is, like as long as there's none of that stuff, I feel like that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like there is. It doesn't sound like anyone's like, well, it's great, but the reloading.
Yeah.
Well, it's great, but the sprinting mechanic.
Well, they gave you a lot of options too. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of snap turning styles and locomotion styles. There's different ways to load your gun. You can have it more immersive or less immersive. And then, if you want to reload the clips manually and drop a clip and pop it in and pull back the chamber, it takes longer to do. So they reward you with a higher harvest count as you're collecting this stuff. So it's kind of not in vain to take the harder way.
Nice.
Do you know what I mean? Which is more immersive. Or you can do it where you drop a clip, you slam it into your ammo belt, kind of like you do in Arizona Sunshine, and it's reloaded, and you keep going. So there's a lot of options here, and they're doing a lot of really, really good things. And it's so much fun, and the environments are amazing, and the interaction with your friends is fantastic. And I've been lucky enough to play this with some really great people like Delirium Drew and Void Citizen, and today I was in there with Paul from the VR Realm, and who else in Quip Silva and RobynzReality, and just it's been so much fun. It says Z Storm Gaming in there, and
Go ahead, Ashley.
Oh, sorry, just like Robyn.
Oh
Yay.
yeah, Robyn. We love Robyn. She was just on our show.
so it's been great, and having great friends to play this with is a big
Dude,
part of it too. Because
and Rise the King right now is hitting the fucking nail on the head. He says, dude, the fact that you'll be able to play with PSVR, Quest, and PC together,
yes,
this will be the game people talk about in the way that we put Half-Life Alyx as a top tier game. I think you are 100% right.
Yeah.
When I was playing Firewall 0 Hour I was aware of a game called Alvo in development. And this is when I was a PSVR owner. And I was like wishing and praying that some cross-platform VR multiplayer game of quality would exist that would allow me to play something other than Firewall and connect with people in other communities. Alvo took forever to come out, like way too long. And by the time it did come out, it wasn't good enough, and it just fell flat, at least for me anyway. This, you're right, dude. Rise of the King, you're hitting the nail on the head. The fact that the Quest guy can play with the PSVR guy and the PC guy will pull everyone together. That is what made Fortnite popular.
Yeah, and then you don't have to worry about, like, is there going to be enough people to go in there and have a game with enough people, right? Because you're pulling these people from every single VR pot. So your chances of having full lobbies is way higher.
Yep. So, and just the lack of friction, and you can play with the kid from school, you know, like it doesn't matter if you have the same thing, like that is literally why Fortnite got big. Well, that, and it was free to play and cross-platform, you will have a successful game. I don't know why people don't realize that. Like, if you're a multiplayer, you have to open it up, let people get in there,
and that's tough. That's a hard thing, and that's why After the Fall has been in development for so long, and it's been delayed because they really want to nail this cross-platform thing, and you know, and hopefully it works. You know, I can't speak to if that part works great yet because everyone I've been playing with has been on PC, and that's where the play test has been open. It was only on the PC version, so it'll be interesting as we start getting Quest players playing with PC players, playing with PlayStation VR players, and seeing kind of how it all meshes together. So.
All right, enough After the Fall. What's next?
I've also played a really, really cool game called Eye of the Temple. This game is special for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's beautiful, right? It's an absolutely gorgeous game. But the biggest thing is there's no stick locomotion in this game. You're actually walking around your play space. And you don't need, like, you know, a 30-meter play space to pull this off, right? Like they can do it with 2 meters, 3 meters, I think is recommended, right? But like a standard size virtual reality play space, and they use all these little tricks that keep bringing you back to the center of your play space. But you think you're all over the place. Like you're running around in this temple like Indiana Jones, whipping things, you know, pulling switches, using torches to get through different parts of the temple. And it is just really cool, man. Like you're kind of like ultra immersed in this game.
It looks beautiful. Yeah. You know, like when I first did T for God, my brain splattered. And T for God is the same situation. It's you set your play space and you just walk around forever in it, and you're turning new corners and going up elevators, and it feels like you're in an infinite space. It's amazing. Blew my mind. But visually, T for God's got nothing on this.
Like, as you can see here, T for God is not the best visual quality, but where it shines is making you feel like you are in that space.
But now, dude, this was like, you know, what, a year and a half ago, like 2 years ago that I first tried T for God. And now we've had stuff like Eye of the Temple come out, and it's like, I'm almost forgetting about T for God now. Like when you see stuff like this, like it looks amazing. Like it's similar mechanics. I mean, T for God, the thing that really does different is it's procedurally generated spaces as opposed to like well constructed and like almost like puzzly constructed spaces. But either way, these like opportunities to use your own feet to walk around in VR with limited space, super badass. I absolutely
super cool,
love
man. It's so good. And the crazy thing is, and this game's been in development for like 5 years, right? And it's like $15. Like where else can you get like dude, look where else can you get entertainment like this for $15? Like you go to a movie, you buy one ticket, guess what you just spent? Like $15. Like what the hell?
Dude,
it's crazy.
I want to talk about my movie.
Ooh,
can we move? Yes. I want to move.
We can. So yes, we went into one of my favorite places, which is Neos.
First of all, have you been in Neos, Ashley? Just so I'm curious of what your exposure is to it.
Yeah, I have, but I have like a limited time played, unfortunately. So I'm kind of living through Skiba and his adventures at this point.
So long as
very many.
That's true. He's always in there. So long as you like are at least on the same page as us here, because this experience that I did recently, I guess we did, was insane. I mean, do you want to start? You want to set this up?
I do. kind of before we get into what this experience is, I just want to kind of touch on Neos a little bit more and why it is the way it is and why I feel like this experience could only really exist inside of Neos, right? Because like, so Neos is kind of like VR chat in a very, like VR chat is like a very static thing. You go in there, what you see is what you get. You walk around, you talk to people, you socialize. It's very cool, right? Beautiful environments. You get to interact with real life people and create relationships. And that's a beautiful thing, right? But Neos is like being in the Ready Player One Oasis. Anything that you can imagine, you can make happen if you want to put a little bit of time into it, right? Or like, and everyone in there is so helpful, right? You can make anything happen. You see a thing and you're like, oh, that gun should do this. You just click on it. You open an inspector window and you make it happen. It is just so freaking cool. And real quick, there's this little thing in Neos called NCR, which is Neos credits. And it's a cryptocurrency used to perform transactions within Neos. So you can pay people for services. You can do all this stuff, right? And you can pull this cryptocurrency out into Ethereum and then pull it out to US dollars if you want. But recently, just this month, like I think I had like $40 in Neos credits in there, right? This month, that $40 went up to like $700. Like, wow, like the NCR is going through the roof right now. Like this is like, if you told me 30 years ago, like I'm sitting there playing Mario Brothers on my Nintendo, that like the coins I'm collecting would be worth real life money. Like what? Like this video game currency is like, you can go and buy food with it if you want to in real life. Like what is happening?
Can you earn those credits in game?
So you can get paid for services in game, but the way you earn the credits right now is through being a Patreon supporter. And if you're a Patreon supporter, every month they dump a little bit of Neos credits into your account, right? And they're working on a marketplace right now where you can buy things, and you know there's all kinds of things in development in the crypto and the blockchain technology aspect of this metaverse, which you know crypto and NFTs and blockchain, that shit was made for the metaverse, man. Like. It just is like, this is a digital existence using digital currencies and digital art and digital this and digital that. I mean, it just blends together like milk and chocolate, right? So, I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy that this currency has just gone through the roof too, you know, and there are people close to millionaires because they've been in there right now supporting this, you know, at a high Patreon
and it's not even
plateau.
Fucking close.
And it's not
where
even
it's going.
Right,
Not
because
even
you
close.
have to have a beefy PC to run this. You do. You can't just throw on a Quest and start up a native Neos client. I mean, there is one in development, and if you're a Patreon supporter, you can use it, but it's not there yet. It's just not there yet. I mean, this is such a powerful platform. And the power of this platform, which has enabled this company called the Meta Movie.
The Meta Movie.
Company,
yeah,
right?
And the movie is called Alien Rescue.
Yes.
Ashley, are you familiar with the Meta Movie?
No, I'm not actually.
It was amazing. Okay. I'm going to start by saying that. This is something that I thought was really, really cool. And it took me a while to like, I don't know, I'm like still collecting my thoughts from it, honestly. But to kind of paint a picture, the Meta Movie is a virtual reality experience where you, the participant, the person who buys the movie ticket, is the main character of the story. And the people and the characters who you are encountering throughout your experience are real people, actors, paid actors, playing roles of characters in the universe. And you start on a ship and you're interacting with an AI, like your ship has an AI, and this is a real person playing the part. So as you're responding to them, they're using your name, they're saying things that are very specific to like the shit you've been saying. And it didn't take me long to like start having some really interesting and weird feelings while I was in there.
Yeah, it did.
It was incredible. Now, you can participate and watch the Meta Movie without having a primary role as well, because as the hero, people are asking you questions. They're like engaging with you, and your responses are going to have a significant impact on the way the story unfolds, because there's people in there literally improvising with you and like rolling with the punches. And like, if you say something, they're going to take it seriously and move with it. And it was insane. But if you don't really want to engage in that kind of role play, you can experience this as what they called an iBot. And an iBot is like a little floating R2D2 looking dude that follows the hero around and has flashing lights on it that it can try to use to communicate with the hero if it maybe notices something on the other side of the room that the hero can't see. So you get a
notices
different
danger around the corner. You can come back and kind of report back, flashing lights at the hero. You know,
and it was absolutely insane. There was multiple moments in there where I felt like I was dreaming, and I was like interacting with dream characters. And as a result of that, I found myself embodying a personality that I wanted to embody, that I wanted to have fun doing. And I was super snarky and like really anti-hero and like not trusting anyone and like, don't fuck with me because I will kill you. Your gun on your hip works. Like you can blast stuff. Like it's like a video game with actors in it, and you're in the story, and it was incredible.
You could kill the other characters,
could kill every single
then
person.
The entire story is completely different.
Yep. It was crazy. And there was, I had a lot of fun with the iBots. There was like, I think like, I don't know, maybe 6 to 8 people who were there watching the movie, but engaging with me. And I would like call them all over and like, you know, oh, these are my little friends. And I'm like having fun with them and stuff. And there was one scene that kind of speaks to like the layers of immersion here, where one of the characters was like, hey man, come with me. We're going to go like check some shit out. I'm like, okay, fine. So I start following him, and as we're walking away, I hear the other 2 characters start up a conversation, like as we're leaving earshot. And I'm like, hold on, wait a second. He's like, what? I'm like, dude, just shut up, hold on. And I start listening to them, and like they're barely in earshot, but I hear them talking about like sexual tension that had happened between them, you know? And like, it's up to me whether or not I want to go back and like eavesdrop more, go and interrupt their conversation, or keep moving forward with this guy who's pulling me. And I like stop for a minute. He's like, dude, come on. I'm like, shut up. You know, like, you know, like I'm like interacting so naturally with these characters, and it was incredible. Like, I'm not going to talk too much about the decisions I made or the storyline elements because it's about an hour and a half. And
it's like full movie length.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half long of or so. And you know, I would suggest that if this sounds like something that you might be into, just fucking go and do it.
Do it. Do it.
Blew my mind. I was like floored at the end of it. Like I felt awake in a dream. I felt alive. I felt like, and I was so grateful because at some point during the experience, I realized, and I feel like I'm getting a glimpse into the future of entertainment when I do this.
100%.
Seriously,
100%.
I felt so grateful because I am the center of a storm. Like there are so many moving parts, other human beings all contributing to giving one person a truly immersive experience. It was me, you know, and like the iBots were in there too. And technically they're getting an immersive experience too. But if you're the hero in the meta movie,
and that's what you got to be the hero.
There are fucking 20 people all pulling strings like a haunted house to give you and only you an incredible experience. And I was so fucking grateful for it when I got out of it. I was like, oh my God. And I realized that this is like an archaic approach. Like we have to have 20 humans filling these roles, you know, like that's a lot of manpower and energy and money to give an experience to one person. But in the future, AIs, programs, all that stuff is going to make this possible.
But you're not really giving just the experience to one person, right? There are other iBots, and there are people who genuinely don't want to have to participate. They want to watch the story go down. They want to see the beautiful sets. They want to watch this movie and be able to go in there and interact as much or as little as they want without any focus being on them, right?
And that's beautiful, but it is all about the hero.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. But if you are the type of person that doesn't want to do any interacting, I would definitely suggest go in
as an iBot.
Yeah.
It was so fucking cool.
That's
and
cool.
this thing ain't going to be around forever either, folks. So like we didn't get paid to do this. Like they did let us come and do it for free. So we might as well say that. I think the hero ticket's like $50. I would have paid it.
In a minute.
In a heartbeat.
In a freaking minute, dude.
Heartbeat.
Yep. Like this is like going to a theater in watching a show, but you can get up on stage and you can be like, I don't really like where this is going. Let's change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or even just participating in and being in the sets and these beautiful elaborate sets that people have constructed within Neos that, they have working lights, and you're like actually going into this spaceship and you're going through the hallways and you sense the danger around the corners. And like, it's just, and the actors, I got to tell you, man, these are like legit, like Hollywood quality actors. This isn't like Joe down the street that's like, I'm going to try that. No,
really
these
good.
people are good,
Staying
man.
in character, doing
They
a
are
great job.
good.
I
Yeah.
am happy to spill details of this thing if any of you want to hear them. Like if this is something that like you're interested in, but you want to hear a little bit more, I'm not going to do it on the show right now, but
Message.
by all
message
means,
up
hit
there.
me up. I will happily tell you a little bit more about the experience and like some of the decisions and some of the scenarios that I got put into to help you like make the decision if you want to. But anyway, I would just say go fucking do it.
This is an experience that you will never get anywhere else. You can't.
At least not today. Yeah.
This is one of a kind experience that is unreal.
Amazing.
Yep.
The most recent thing that I've done that has even compared is Meow Wolf in Vegas. If you've Meow Wolf is like an interactive psychedelic art exhibit. It blew my mind. Similar experience going into the Metaverse.
But that's in real life.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
yes,
This you
yes.
can do from your living room.
Yeah. Now
know?
here's the thing. If during my experience there was one major glaring issue I had. What do you want to think it was, Ashley?
No haptics.
A lack of haptics. There were multiple scenes when I was in there and I was like, I should be feeling this right now. Like I walked past like a steam vent and like blasting me with a steam vent. I was like, oh, like as a haptic designer for B Haptics, I was like jotting down every instance where I wanted them. As someone who's experienced haptics, it's easy to like understand that. Like I'm saying that to Skeevy's like, yep. But there's a lot of people out there who have never worn a haptic suit, who haven't had any kind of advanced haptic experience outside of what is happening in their controllers. So for someone who doesn't have any, outside haptic experience outside of the controller haptics, what do you say to people like this? And like when they ask you like why this is important, like why would haptics be important in your words?
If you look at the gaming industry in general, haptics has been a fundamental part of that. And the reason being is because it does alter your experience. It does alter the way you feel, the way that you connect with the game. So I think for me, that's kind of like the first place I go, because that's the place where most people have the most experience. It's your Sega controller, it's your Xbox controller, it's the rumbling that you associate with Command and Conquer for me, or just whatever kind of title, Sonic, anything that you grew up playing. So that's kind of like the starting point for me. I think it's tough for people to grasp haptics outside of that, because if you look at haptics and how they're used, typically it's in smartphones. That's where you'll find the most haptics. And how they're used is very kind of rudimentary. It's a bit kind of Neanderthal if you think about it. It's buzzing or clicks to let you know that you've pressed a button on a keyboard. They're not used in a way that's advanced like you'd want from a gaming controller. So I think there's kind of like a bridge that you need to create and tie the kind of worlds together so it makes a little more sense of like why it's important. So if you think back to like arcade games, pinball games, it's like that extra kind of feeling you get that makes you believe that you're there, believe that you're connected, that you're controlling something because you can feel it. It's that kind of like confirmation that you get from it, which in VR is like literally critical.
Yeah.
Do you remember the PS3 days, the PlayStation 3 days? There was when the PlayStation 3 was coming out, there was this like beef that happened between Sony and the main provider that did the haptics inside of the PlayStation controllers. And there was a period of months and months where controllers went out with no haptics. And I was like, that's not going to matter. And then I got the controller and it was like being numb. And now that's kind of how I feel when I go into something and, I'm expecting haptic feedback. I get shot and nothing happens. I feel numb, right? It's kind of weird how important every sensory input of our body is, especially touch.
Yep. Well, and it's like the digital experiences that we have are truly intangible. Like they don't exist in the sensory perception reality that we're all sitting here sharing. So you have to introduce some aspects of sensory perception reality in order to bridge that gap, kind of to your point, Ashley. I'm really glad you mentioned smartphones, because this is not a opportunity for a use case of haptics that I feel comes up often enough, especially in our space when we're talking about this stuff. But like, how many times have you out there, folks, when you use your phone, like to fire it up and like, you know, punch in your fucking code or whatever, and unlocks, and you don't feel that little tiny bump? You're like, wait a second, like, no, like, wait, this is dead. Like, there is such a subtle little bump in these devices when you're like closing something, or you open it up, or you put in your passcode, or whatever it is, that you abso-fucking-lutely notice when it's missing, but don't notice when it's there. You get so used to it, and you are like so naturally comfortable pulling that information in and just like adding it to what's happening to you. I think it's really important to remember that.
It really is. Can you imagine? And I just thought of this because I looked over at chat and I saw Chris Haney in the chat, right? Now, for those of you who have tried Space Pirate Arena, you know this is one of the most immersive games you can play, period. You are running through environments, ducking behind walls that don't exist, trying to shoot your friend who is in real life right over there. Right? Like, it is so cool. But imagine wearing a haptic suit on top of that.
Chris, it's like the first thing we said when we played the game.
Yeah, like to have that, like for him to shoot me and to feel it while I am running down a hall, like I can't.
We need it.
Oh, that's gotta happen, man. I just had to throw that in. I saw you in there, and I just like there's few things that you can do to improve the Space Pirate Arena experience because it is so freaking perfect. But haptics is so critical.
Well, and you know, that is, of course, an obvious use case of haptics, right? It's like, I got shot. Now I'm feeling it. Like, that is such an obvious use case. And I think like one of the reasons why I like love that you brought up the phone is because that's actually less obvious, even though it's so much more prominent. Like, everyone experiences those haptics, you know? So, I mean, what needs to happen, you know, in order for people to like start to kind of put these pieces together, you know, because I know it, Steven knows it, you know it, but like most people are not thinking about the fact that they're feeling their phone every time they pick it up. And when, as a Haptics employee, I'm trying to express to someone the reason that they should pick one up, it's like, if you can't see it, like, what's missing there? Like, why can't they put those pieces together? And why isn't this something that like everyone agrees is absolutely fundamental?
One of the things I think has been really interesting about haptics and smartphones, and one of the reasons why it hasn't been as popular or as used, is just because I think it's been some weird chicken and the egg. And I used an example of like radio and music to kind of describe it. Like, if you think about it, every household had a radio at some point, and they didn't have a radio because they're like, wow, this is a bitchin' looking technology. It looks cool in my house. I want to just have this cool looking radio. It's because they wanted music. They wanted to hear a news broadcaster. So that was the use case. It wasn't kind of like having the tech and they didn't have a use case. Whereas smartphones, they all have haptics, like probably 99% of them, but the use case for the haptics is very limited. So it's kind of this weird thing where we need content to be able to utilize the haptics, and that's kind of the missing piece. And there's like a lot of reasons why it's kind of like difficult to develop haptics for people that are, you know, have apps and want to create it. There's limited ways to utilize haptics. The technology is very specific type, and you can only do a certain type of haptic feel within it. Just as, you know, like our haptic language of my people, when we talk to each other, it's like there's different kind of things that you can do, and you're limited. So I think in the same things with VR, it's we need good content for people to fall in love with it, because you can't fall in love with the tech. You got to fall in love with the way that it's being used, and doing it well and utilizing the tech based on the existing like actuator technology. It literally is one of the hardest things, and it's kind of an art form in itself.
So is that where you spend a lot of your time, like in that actual actuator technology, or like where are you finding yourself contributing primarily in the haptics world?
Yeah, so Titan Haptics focuses on motor technology. So a lot of people know HD music or video, but we're HD haptics. And so we're looking to take that kind of like rumbly console experience and bring it to smartphones. So miniaturizing our technology so it'll fit in smartphones and VR controllers. And we can, bring like an amazing wideband feel, so you can have the deep rumble of your controller that from Xbox or PlayStation to the kind of like high-end buzzing booze of a smartphone. So that's kind of the game area that I play. I'm all about strategic partnerships, so I want to work with people to bring our technology to their experiences. And I also work with developers so that they can test out what it's going to be like to have future technology and like what's their game going to feel like. So a lot of the time I spent with just creative people who they've got this like idea in their head that they're trying to get out, and that's really what developers are all about. It's like they've got this vision and they want to like bring it to the world. And in terms of haptics, it's like they also have an idea of what that, say, blaster feels like. It's like they have an idea of how it feels like to load. They have an idea of what it feels like to shoot, what it feels like to have recoil, what it feels like to be shot. And maybe it's an experience that no one's ever felt before because it's an entirely new like weapon concept. And so my thing is like, how do we take that and we turn it into like a real life experience that someone can actually test and play? So like, yeah, we're an actuator company, but I work with folks to try to bring their visions to life in that kind of way. Because like there's so many creative people with like crazy ideas, but like they're currently kind of limited by how and what. So trying to bridge
like
that with
how much shit costs too is like a huge one.
Yeah.
Or like how many, like how useful it'll actually be. Like I'm sure people can come up with amazing haptic like concepts, but it's like, yeah, but why? But what is the use case of this specific technology? That kind of thing.
And layers of friction too, right? Like it has to be easy. The haptics and cell phones and
like
controllers,
intrinsic.
they're in there. And how awesome it is. No one had to be like, no, you got to get this thing because it's going to make your experience better.
Right.
Like it's in there. So now you know.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a little bit of a layer with something like Haptics, but Haptics makes it so easy. You like start a program, you push the button and you're done. Right. And that's so important to the adoption of these things. But so one of the other connection points for me that I find amazing for haptics is like I've been spending a lot of time in social VR, right? And being able to see my friends and hug them and have a response on my body is crazy to me. Like I actually feel like an even deeper connection being able to high five someone, give them a hug, whatever, pat someone on the back. Like it's great. Like it's just nuts what that brings. Imagine a life where you didn't feel anything. I couldn't come over to you and high five you or hug a friend that was having a hard time or like, all of the physical things in life. It is such an important part of living. And I feel like that absolutely translates to virtual reality.
And it was a haptic experience that broke my Camel's virtual reality back when I fucking high-fived someone in Rec Room.
That's right. Yeah.
I high-fived someone and I felt it. And I was like, oh my God. Like I just crossed space and time to high five someone and I felt it in my fucking hand. Like that was it for me. Like I became Alex VR in that moment, and I truly believe that it was the haptic that was responsible for it. Like the visual, sure, but it's when it connected that I was like, this is profound. It became instantly profound the second that the haptics kicked in. And I can say that, right? And I think a lot of people understand that, I am really proud of the Haptics team for the tools that they have developed to help visualize and demonstrate what their shit does. Like I can put a visualizer on a video that lights up and shows you and helps you kind of understand what this experience might be like for me. And I think it does a great job of illustrating what it may feel like to be wearing the vest. But at the end of the day, unless you're wearing it, you don't have the experience and you don't know exactly how profound it can be.
Right.
Oftentimes, and like I said, I preface this by saying I don't get this often, but every now and then someone in the community is like, hey, like, so what, it vibrates? Like, so what is it, a bunch of vibrations, or can you actually feel something? And the answer is no, it's a bunch of vibrations, but it is a lot more than that, I would say. Wouldn't you say, Ashley?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think when you're in the moment itself, those vibrations kind of change into whatever you're doing at the time. So it's like I had a similar experience as you, like kind of an aha moment. There were two, actually. One, the most recent one, I was at a virtual conference and there was another person to my side, and we just so happened to both kind of like lean and kind of like go to touch each other's hand just to see what it would do, like at the exact same time. And there was like a haptic buzz at that moment when we touched fingers, and that was kind of huge. It's like small but huge at the same time, because it's the start of like making it actually feel like someone else is there with you rather than just this kind of like emoji that, you know, just is kind of like its mouth moves and beyond that nothing happens. So that for me was definitely an aha moment.
Absolutely. It's, you know, it's interesting because we talked earlier about like so many like obvious use cases for haptics, like recoil, for example, is a great one, you know, but there might be things that don't have normal haptic experiences that then you almost like create that experience for, you know, and what ends up happening is your brain does the work really fast. It's like, oh, I know what that means. And really well. And it's like, I know what that means. And it takes that vibration, registers it as a function of the thing that you have just done. And now it means that, you know, and it doesn't necessarily even have to have a like visual representation. One of my favorite ways that I've noticed a developer integrate tactile for face, which of course the primary way is, as anyone can imagine, you get headshot. You get headshot, this thing hits, you're like, shit, I just got shot in the face. And it's more insulting that way, honestly. When you feel it, it's more insulting. But in Guardians, on which is like almost like it's kind of, to me, it feels like being in the movie Starship Troopers. It's like a wave shooter tower defense game that's multiplayer, and I actually really love it. But in that game, if your base starts taking damage, you get the vibrations here on your face. So I'm not getting shot in the face, but my base is taking damage, and that is important. Importante. And maybe like the alarm is going, I'm not hearing that shit. I'm too busy blasting bugs. But then when I start feeling this, I'm like, oh shit. So now my brain has attributed my face buzzing to my base is in danger. Not I'm getting slapped in the face by an invisible hand. It means my base is in danger. And my brain did all of that. Like if it was up to just the sensation, every time my face buzzed, I'd be like, wait, what just hit me in the face?
Yeah.
But I don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. There's a bunch of things that really blew my mind that weren't shot-based vibrations either. I mean, the very first one was in Half-Life Alyx. I mean, you're injured, right? And your heart's beating, and you feel heart beating in your chest. And when you feel your heart beating, there is a sense of anxiety that you can't get around.
It adds a lot of pressure to the situation.
It really, really does. I mean, it is way different than hearing a little ding and you see the little heart thing blinking. This is like, oh my God, I'm getting like a response, right? But then you go over to a health station and you heal. And I always wondered as a kid, what would it feel like to heal in a video game? Now I know. It's insane. It's so cool. Like it kind of goes like up your stomach, down your back, and you feel like you're being rejuvenated. And it was just absolutely unreal. I mean, that was one of the coolest experiences. The other one was jumping off a building in Population 1 and flying and feeling the wind going
wind
down my body.
So good.
So cool, man. I mean, so cool. That has nothing to do with getting shot or being hit in any way. I mean, those are things that like you think, oh, what does vibrating have to do with wind, right? But like your brain is like, oh, it connects it for you. It does all the work, and it really makes,
especially when you're wearing a fucking headset, because you're immersed in a virtual space. So
absolutely,
it's so easy to do.
EWE this year, I was able to try a lot of different kind of haptic technologies. The majority were gloves, actually. So I tried like the Haptics glove and the Sense glove and a contact eye glove. And the crazy thing about that is, like with the haptic gloves, they utilize a bunch of different kinds of technologies, haptic technologies, like microfluidic, kind of like skin is one that Haptics has, where it's essentially picture like a surface covered in circles, and each of those circles kind of puffs out to provide pressure. And like that in itself isn't like replicating human touch, but your brain really does kind of like make you think that that's realistic. So in the example I had here is the demo had basically you put your hand out and the demo would have like a spider crawl onto your hand.
Nice.
And because of the way that they changed the pressure points, it literally felt like a spider was walking in your hand. The other one was like grass. So you'd rub your hand against it and you could feel the kind of like strains of grass. So it's like your brain really does find ways to just like convince itself that that's true. Another one was the Sense Glove had, actuators in the fingertips essentially, and I was able to like touch a surface, and it gave me kind of haptic feel at the exact time where I'd touch, and it made me feel like there's a surface there. So it's like convinced me that my scenario is much more realistic because it's like I could feel along surfaces. So there's like a kind of a convincement that I'm confined in some way, and the objects that I touch are like more realistic. So I think just with simple motors, you can do a whole lot to convince yourself that things are real, that things are different textures, things are like you're picking up, say in Huff Like Alex, the difference would be picking up something that feels like a squishy teddy bear versus picking up something that feels like a bottle, and being able to tell the liquids inside. So there's like so many different things you can do with like really simple haptics that are very enchanting.
And I always tell people to remember Nintendo. Like, pick up your Nintendo Switch and play something, and pay attention. And you will notice when your character opens a door, when he lands from a jump, when he like all these little tiny little bumps that bring so much to the experience that you are just as the user just like it's melting together. Like you're just getting one experience. But I noticed when I was playing fucking Super Mario 3D All Stars on my Switch, they added haptics to Mario 64. Like,
that's so cool.
Like when you open the doors, like when you long jump, like I can feel all that in the controller.
They know how important haptics is. And we real quick, we got a super chat from
Paradise Decay. Bow, 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 bow. I did it. I hit the right button.
Right on. And PD is asking, how good do you think the PSVR 2 haptics will be? So for people that don't know, PSVR 2 has built-in face haptics because they know how important that shit is, right? Like B Haptics has a facial interface that you can buy, but it's got metal things inside of the cushion. It for long play periods, it's not super comfortable.
Totally.
It pushes out your field of view a little bit. So, but to have it built right into the headset, I'm very surprised that this hasn't been done already. Like what took so long for this, right? I feel like that should have been done ages ago, the very, very first headset.
Right.
So I think personally it's going to be huge.
What do you think, Ashley? PSVR 2 haptics.
Yeah, I think two things on that. One is what I love about Sony is that they don't release anything unless it's epic. Like they're very specific about the quality of things, and so it's kind of like they just won't bother. Like we're just not going to release it. So I think it's going to be good just because of that. Their past history, and they're well known in the haptic space for having epic haptic experiences. Like they're the makers of the DualSense. So it probably won't be the DualSense, but they have the capability. And then I think the other side of that is there's a lot of cool things you can do with haptics outside of just vibration. Some of the experiments we've done is you can do bone conduction, which means you can do sound and haptics at the same time. That's something we were experimenting with TAC-hammer technology. So, there's a lot of crazy stuff beyond just feeling, gunshots to the face. You can utilize haptics in kind of crazier ways than just that. So,
there's a lot of companies.
I'm amped.
There's a lot of companies out there who are doing a lot of research. Obviously Facebook put out their research thing, which of course Haptics then clapped back, being like, wait a second, that's ours, dudes. And but I look at that shit and it's like fluid filled sacks on this, like that does not look practical to me, if I'm being honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
everything's going to start somewhere and it's got to miniaturize.
Of course, and there's like all kinds of crazy shit going on. I used the Tesla suit at CES 2 years ago, and that's a completely different situation going on there. And what that's capable of delivering is so much different than what the haptics is able to do. And what I find interesting is that some of the effects are emulating the same thing, so like wind, for example. I know what it feels like to use wind with B-haptics. Like I'm flying and pop one, it's rolling on me, it's sweet. And the Tesla suit also did wind, but they used the like electricity stimulus, and it was literally shocking me in a path like across my chest that it feels like electricity, straight up. Literally feels like electricity, but it does create this wave sensation. Like you feel it moving across. With the Tesla suit, the thing that I noticed the most, or like the closest to reality application I could come up with, was scratching. Like the way that it moves down this thing with like the electrical like stimulus, it's like needles almost. And if I was playing a game where like a jungle cat reached out and like swiped my leg or something and it like like put that haptic across my leg, that shit would feel like you got scratched, like for real. And of course, it wouldn't hurt your skin, it wouldn't draw blood or anything, but it actually is
Can be painful.
a level of discomfort. Yeah.
Well, you know, I think it's huge for all of these companies to be making advancements in all different kinds of haptics, because it all bleeds into each other eventually. And I think one of the things that's interesting about us talking about the PSVR 2 haptics is not just that they have haptics in the face inside of the HMD, right? But they also came out with adaptive trigger haptics on their controllers, which have been confirmed to be making its way to the PSVR 2 motion controllers, right? Because that thing is like that. It almost feels like there's hydraulics in the trigger that can stop you. Like it can make the trigger real stiff. It can give it like a spring effect. It can make like a machine gun type of thing. Every gun in some of these games feels different, and you can recognize what gun you're shooting just by how the trigger feels in this. And that is probably the biggest controller haptic advancement we've seen since the very beginning of there being haptics in controllers. It is huge. And I think what that's going to bring to virtual reality is absolutely just it's going to be mind melting, you know, but between the face haptics and the trigger haptics, dude, Sony, I keep saying this, been saying it since the very beginning of the show, man. Sony's going to walk in with their PSVR 2, drop the mic, walk away, be like, yeah, what's up now?
Yeah, they will. You know, I'm still kind of like thinking about like pain and haptics. And I kind of want Ashley to weigh in on this a little bit, you know, because I've had people like say, I wish it hurt, you know, and what we talk about saying basically like the brain like fills the gap for you, you know, like when you shoot me in the head, my face vibrates, that like hurts, you know, I'm like, I don't like that. And like, that's not a good thing. My brain knows that that's not a reaction that I need or want, but it happened and now I'm dealing with it kind of situation, you know. But do you think that like painful or discomfort or has painful experiences or discomfort in general in haptics has a place? Do you think it's valuable? Do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, for sure. It actually brings me to a past Haptics Club guest we had, Jasmine and Jas from the University of Chicago. So they were working on it's like this kind of like haptics armband, and it used chemicals as a way to create haptics. And they use things like chemicals to create pain, chemicals to create tingling, chemicals to create like really cold. So I think there is a lot of value to being able to replicate real life experiences, even ones that are pain and it's not actually pain. So the example they gave to kind of like put it in context, like they're not, you know, slicing you with a I don't know, a knife or something. But if you eat like little peppercorns, or these like little peppercorns you can eat, and they make your tongue tingly and it kind of is uncomfortable, it's that similar kind of experience. So I think pain can be something that's definitely good for training, like all this kind of like industry related VR. It's important for you to understand what it's maybe it feels like as a you're the, you know, I don't know, the guest at the hospital who's getting surgery versus you're the doctor giving it and understanding what it feels like to puncture like a surface, like two different, very different type of haptic feels. But I think for people who really like virtual reality, I think it's just going to be one of those things that becomes norm, because it makes your game a lot more immersive. Like if you get hurt, it's going to stop you from getting hurt. Just like you said, Alex, it's like it's uncomfortable and you don't like it. So you're going to make sure you do your damnedest to like not get shot or, you know, not fall down that pit of spikes and kind of thing like that. So I think it's super valuable. Is it going to be coming anytime soon? I haven't seen any technologies that make it, you know, easy for consumer companies to integrate. The chemical haptics one has a few, you know, things to work
some
out.
Some glaring issues there. They're pretty glaring.
a few chemical related issues. Yeah. But yeah. I could see that in like a haptic suit. And it just becomes a part of it. If it's raining and it's cold, I'd want to feel that versus if it's raining on like a warm day.
You know, it's interesting to me that there are people out there that actually want to feel this pain, right? Because let's be real. We do everything in life to avoid pain, right?
A lot of us.
Like, yeah, I mean, most of us, we want to avoid pain. And it's one of the reasons why we go into VR to do some of these experiences that we don't want to do in real life, right? Otherwise,
No risk.
right, there's no risk. You could go out right now and you can get some pretty crazy weapons and you can go beat each other in a field. Why don't you do that? Because it fucking hurts,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I don't want that. Like I want to feel, I want to feel something and have my
But-
brain go, that's a signifier of pain. I don't want it to really hurt.
But I bet, and I'm just going to play a little devil's advocate here. I bet the risk is like bodily injury and death, less actual pain. Like pain and bodily injury are not the same thing. So like if you cut me,
Yeah.
that's a bodily injury. I have a fucking problem now, right? But if I
Yeah.
just felt a little bit of pain, I bet you people would be willing to sign up for that experience. Be like, you know what? Fuck yeah. I'm going to kill this guy. And they're like, yeah, he's going to feel it all right. And, both people agree and neither one of them experienced it.
And
Like, I bet you people would
I
do
think
it.
something like the Tesla suit could invoke pain, actual pain.
It does.
Yeah.
It's
And
literally fucking
It's going
electrocuting
to be
you.
interesting in the future to see what we have a problem in today's society right now where people hack things and they go in and they do things that people don't want these things to do. Can you imagine if you're in a Tesla suit and someone that you have that has a problem with you hacks into your shit
Cranks it
and
up.
they just man,
Light you on
dude,
fire?
This is some interesting stuff coming in our future, man. And I don't know if pain is a great thing.
Well,
I don't know, I'm just saying.
dude, I mean, pain is a very valuable teacher. Pain
teacher,
is like
yep.
incredible. Like it's needed.
Yes, it is.
It's so funny we're talking about pain right now. I recently saw a documentary about a kid who was born without the ability to feel it.
Oh,
Not good.
yeah, no,
He
that is
scratched
not
his
good.
entire fucking face off.
Wow, because he
Can't
didn't
feel shit.
know.
Scratched
I mean,
his whole
imagine
face off.
you put your arm down on a hot stove. You don't know what's on. I mean, the pain is there to be like, no, move it now.
Right.
Bad things are happening to your body
Right.
now. Do it.
So
right?
imagine you had an immersive experience that was virtual, that you put your hand on a hot stove and you felt that burn, then you pulled the headset off and it was gone. I bet you won't go around putting your fucking hand on hot stoves in the real
Yeah.
world anymore.
Sure.
And
I
then-
don't know.
And then, I mean, the ultimate, of course, where this conversation will ultimately always end up is hit on by Arcadian VR here. And it's like, how long until a brain interface is all you need to feel things? And like,
Well, I mean, that's where we're going, right? Our body is pre-wired for this stuff. It has everything it needs to feel pain, to feel warm and tingly and great. It
The
has
brain just needs the
all of the
message.
things. If you can intercept that, right, and you can use the pre-existing wiring that we already have, that's all you need.
yep.
Right? We just have to get to that point. And I don't think, we probably won't get there in our lifetime. Maybe my kids will see it, right? Maybe my grandkids will see it. Who knows?
Do you see a timeline on any of this stuff, Ashley? Like, because there are some times where I feel like I can resonate with this perspective, and I'm like, oh, what we're doing right now is archaic. It will not be necessary in the future, and we're just doing our best with what we got. That's how I feel about the meta movie. Like, they're doing their best with what they have, and they get 20 fucking people to come together to make it happen because that's how they have to do it.
Sure, but
So-
eventually there'll be like artificial
Yes,
intelligence. You won't
exactly.
need to pay actors,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
But
So
right now,
with haptics, we might be
Yeah.
in a world like, do you ever feel like maybe that's kind of happening with us now in haptics where like this is almost like inevitably archaic and like we're going to do it for as long as we need to. And then maybe one day BCI or something more profound will come along that does a way more like realistic job of having a human experience some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's definitely, I've had many conversations that are similar to this one actually, where there's always like one person who's like, no. And I'm on the yes, let's get on this kind of bandwagon. I hope it's possible. I hope that it turns into just some way that you can connect into your brain and that becomes the best haptic experiences. You're tricking your own body. But when will that happen? That's hopefully before the sun takes over the earth in billions of years. I'm not sure how soon it's going to be. I think we got to like get through how to figure out what it's going to be like and utilize the technology we currently have, and then eventually we'll get there. I don't think we're anywhere close.
Yeah.
Midlife Gamist coming through with the comment, Jackass VR coming soon.
Jackass VR.
There's your use case,
Yeah.
Skiba. There's your use case.
Yeah, that's so funny because we all watch that to watch those guys hurt themselves, right? Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah, man, that's it is kind of fun. I guess it's fun to speculate about, and like imagine like, oh, are we gonna have I don't know. right now I'm optimistic because I'm not dead yet. You know, I hope I have a few more decades to go in my life. And I feel like VR is the beginning of all of this. You know, I see evidence in what we're talking about right now as what, you know, this currently existing, moving towards something like that. You know, I wake up from dreams and they're so fucking immersive, you know, like my brain is creating realities every single night when I fall asleep every night, you know, and some people who become lucid dreamers, I talked about this last week on the show, learn how to master that. And they basically become masters of their dream realities, you know, and it's like, that's like evidence for me. Like that is like evidence, and VR is like evidence, and everything in my whole fucking I don't know, from like my whole scope of where I'm looking at life seems to be pushing towards this idea that like we are going to fuse with this technology in a way that allows us to do whatever we want, like limitless potential of reality at our fingertips. And I feel like what we're doing now is like the old, hilariously retro-looking version of the first twinklings of that.
There will be history books where kids look back and go, oh my God, people used to put screens on their eyeballs to trick their visual. Like, you know, we're not talking like 20 years down the line, we're just going to be able to jump into a different reality and everything's going to be the same. This could take 100 years, right? This could take 1,000 years, but eventually it's going to happen.
Is this happening?
Everyone is working towards this future. We're all trying to fool our bodies, fool our perspectives, fool our brains into experiencing things we're not really technically experiencing. This is where it's all going. It just might take a little bit to get there 100%, but you don't ever get there if you don't try.
This is why this becomes a philosophical conversation for me, because then how do you define an experience? Like, what makes this an actual experience versus some of these other ones? You know, like all this is a culmination of 5 sensory perceptions.
Well, that's it. That's
you
just
know what I mean? Like, what the fuck is that? Like, how do we know that this is base reality? You know, and like that's really what we end up getting to. And I mean, what are you thinking about right now, Ashley?
I think it's so important that we continue to have these kind of conversations, that we continue to like people that have dreams like yours continue to share them, because as we look back in history, the only reason why we are where we're at right now is because someone said something completely bonkers. A lot of people said that's stupid, that'll never happen, and it took that someone saying something for other people to be like and life is a series of of a bunch of human beings who actually make a difference and just try. So I think, like, I'm super excited about this because it's like creative people just need to keep being creative. And VR for me is like seeing this unlock as it happens, because you start with like really simple games. And now we're seeing experiences like you mentioned, where it's like it's a choose your own adventure with real freaking people. So I think that's, for me, that's super exciting that it's going to happen, but someone's going to have to like talk about it. We need to think about it. We need to think about how we can get there and what's the vision look like. And sometimes who cares how to do it? It's more of like, what do we want? What's kind of like ideal? What would be really cool? And just, we'll figure it out as we go. That's kind of what's on my, my brain.
You know, when you really think about it, a lot of the stuff we're trying to do, you know, has been shown and written about for centuries. It's been shown in movies for decades and decades, and people writing sci-fi things. And then there's some smart guy out there that's like, no, we can do that in real life. And then a bunch of people get together that are all super smart, and they have different experiences and all different kinds of ways they can contribute to solving a problem. And that's what we do, is we solve problems. I mean, we create a lot of problems too, right? But smart people get together and they figure out how to get shit done. And this is never going to stop. People are going to continue to beat this problem into the ground until we figure it out. And I have no doubt in my mind that we will eventually be able to use our internal wiring to do all this stuff, to smell things, to touch things, to feel everything that we would feel in regular reality. And then it gets to a point where where you're like, well, how do we know this hasn't happened already?
Right.
This might, because I know, man, that if someone showed me my life on a piece of paper and they're like, this is the storyline of this game, hop into this thing, we'll stick this thing in your head, I'd be like, sign me up. This is awesome.
Dude, I fucking loved the meta movie. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I felt like I was in a dream. Why did I feel like I was in a dream? Because dream is reality. And I have tried to train myself to be a master of that reality. So when I'm in a Metaverse fucking movie and all of a sudden I'm saying and doing what I want because I can, I felt like I was awake in a fucking dream. And that's why we have started this show, because we started to come to this understanding that this technology literally could be used to help people find themselves, to understand who they are and what it fucking means to be a human being. Because that's what we're scratching at the surface of here. What does it mean to experience reality? You know, because at this point, it's up in the fucking air. Because if you start to define these things, you start to understand that there's not black and white. There's a million shades of gray here. And maybe the reason why you love having the full body tracking and looking down and seeing your feet is because it's been so long since you actually looked down and saw your feet. And VR literally gave you that experience again. No, but that's funny. No, but you were present. You were there. You were like, oh my God, I'm here. And it gave you this moment of self-awareness and self-realization that we are out of touch with in our real world. When are you ever looking down at your feet and being like, oh my God, I'm here?
You should be.
I exist.
Yeah, you should
like
be.
I'm perceiving reality right now. Oh my God. It's an awakening moment. And there will be people who do virtual reality and have that experience. And it will change their fucking lives. They're going to go out and do the things in the real world that they've never had the courage to do because they've never looked down and seen their fucking legs and feet. And now they can. And they're like, wait a second. If I can look in the virtual world and see myself, like, then you pull it off and now you've just gone up a layer of reality. And maybe one day we'll pull this off and there will be another higher level of reality for us to experience. But it's profound, dude. There's something really fucking special happening here.
It is. The more senses you get involved in this stuff, the more profound it is. I remember going into Neos with full body tracking and full body haptics. And it was damn near a religious experience.
Straight up.
To look down and to see my body doing exactly what it's doing in real life, twisting my legs, pointing my feet. Like it's weird, the things that you can be like, wow, that's so cool, because you don't look down and do that in real life. Why don't you? Right?
Why?
Right. You should. But
it's because you're standing there. You give yourself 2 seconds. They're like, oh wait, my phone's going off. I should be doing this. I should be like folding laundry. I've got to go to work. I've got to do these things.
Yeah.
But when you put the headset on, it's like, that's a disconnect. All those things disappear. Like no one can really reach you, or at least you can make it so they don't. And so that's your chance where it's like your brain just kind of releases, and it's like, I'm in this space and this is reality. This is my reality right now.
This is why people meditate. Okay? This is what meditation is. Meditation is that clearing. It is wiping away all of that bullshit. And that's why this might help people, because not everyone you can't explain that to everyone. You can't just be like, sit down, close your eyes, and let go of every thought you have for the next 30 minutes. Like, A, it ain't easy. B, that's a big ask for someone who doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And C, not everyone realizes that they're spiritually stunted and not manifesting a reality that they're capable of manifesting if they allow themselves to. And VR, all you do is say, put this on. Put this on.
And all of a sudden, your real world goes away.
And it happens.
Your problems, you're in another place, in another time, experiencing something different. Your bills aren't a thing in there. That neighbor down the street that bothers you isn't a thing in there. It's a complete different reality. And you're able to really sit back and notice it and really connect with a different existence.
And then maybe, just maybe, when you pull that headset off and you're sitting there on the fucking couch and you remember your VR experience and you look down at your legs, you might be like, wait a second. There's really good haptics here. Like, oh my God, do you feel the texture of this table? Like, we literally might be fucking blowing people's minds and making them wake up to the realization that they're fucking human just by putting a VR headset on in the future.
Yeah.
I totally see the potential for this technology to help people in tremendous ways. And I'm really excited to be a part of it, man. I really am.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, amen. Yeah. And to bring like even more epic haptics to make the experience like as enchanting as possible. Like you said, Skiba, like the feeling, even smell, like we're missing a lot of our senses still. It's not perfect. We've kind of optimized the visuals. Like, do you need more than 8K per eye? Probably not.
Right.
Sound, we're getting epic spatial sound at this point. So it's like, okay, we're check the box there, but just our other senses, it's still lacking. So if we bridge that, like, oh man.
Yeah, and so many people are working on it, right? So right now, I have friends that I talk to all the time that are working on this thing called Cilia, right? Which this is from a company called Haptics Solutions Inc. A couple of really great, smart, awesome individuals that are finding a way to bring smell also into VR. And right now, they just started selling their dev kits. So if you can hop over there right now and you can get this machine that will let you smell in VR, and you can actually go into Neos, and they're implementing this into Worlds right now.
Nice.
Where you can walk down a boardwalk, you walk by like cotton candy stands, you smell it, you pick up popcorn and you actually smell it. We are getting there where all of these smart people are taking their little thing, the little part that interests them, and they are making it reality.
And when at first thought, when I think about smell-o-vision in VR, which is a really rude way to explain it, I guess, but I'm just gonna do that just because I feel like it. It's my show, all right? If you want to come and join us, feel free, and you can make me call it something else. But smell-o-vision in VR kind of sounds like a gimmick to me at first. But then I think to myself, I don't know if y'all have ever been to Disneyland. Disneyland is like the first immersive experience, okay?
Yeah,
it is fucking awesome. It's like putting on a VR headset. It is. It's amazing. I love it. I'm a I'm a grown-ass man, and I go to fucking Disneyland like a kid without kids and love it. It is awesome. And if you've ever been on the Soarin' over California or Soarin' over the world or whatever, I bet you if I asked you what your fucking favorite part was, it would be flying over an orange grove and actually smelling the oranges.
Yeah. Because they pump the scent into the room. They
pump it right into the room, and they actually pump it into the streets and stuff too for different scents and shit. I mean, that's outside of my point here. My point is that you actually love it. You don't, but we love it. We just don't even realize it. It sounds like a gimmick where we're almost I feel like I personally am preemptively saying no before I even fucking get to it. But then when I think about Disneyland, I'm like, wait a second. Smelling those oranges on Soarin' over California was awesome.
It's so big. Well, our bodies have smell for a reason, not because it's not important. Yeah, it's a very big part of reality. And it doesn't
even need to be something like you walk by a trash can so you smell trash. It's what about like water? Water in a space has a scent. Like being in trees.
Rain, it's about to rain. You get that smell, right?
Exactly.
Right. It's so important for all of these different senses to come together to make one whole reality. I mean, it really is. They say that scent is a big component of forming memories. Right. We're already getting there where we are I think back to a lot of memories that I had in VR, and those are my memories where I did this thing with this person and it was so much fun and we had a blast and blah, 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 blah. But to solidify that memory with things like scent and haptics and feeling things, and it's so important to the overall experience of having a legit experience in, a human experience and a different existence.
And just to completely unhinge this thing before we wrap this up and just leave it all nice and open and keep us wondering and dreaming. I think about sensory perception reality all the fucking time. And I think about how crazy it is that we accept what we experience on a regular basis as truth. We're like, this is the way things are, but it is a limited perspective. It is only a 5-sensory reality perspective. And there are some creatures that exist on this planet that are lacking in some of these senses. Like if they were evolved in a cave, they don't have eyes, they don't look at anything. Now their reality is a 3-sensory perception reality. There must be something floating around in this fucking room right now that I don't have a sensory perception organ for.
Sure, of course.
And imagine what kind of an impact that would have if all of a sudden you became privy to a brand new sensory perception that did not exist in your previous 5-sensory perception culmination experience. There has to be something else. There's no way that we can already see that not all creatures have all the same sensory perceptions. So there has to be things that we are incapable of perceiving, which then just fucking throws it all away from me. It's like, okay, well then, and if that's the truth, then I know nothing. We talk about how we know, we know this world, we know reality, we know what it means to be alive, we know what it means to die, we know all this stuff, and I feel like we're not even close to getting there.
You can only know what you can understand, And it's hard to understand anything that you can't perceive, right? So it's interesting. It's interesting.
So the reason why I say it is because I want people to stay open-minded, right? Like as we continue to embrace all of this new stuff and we enter new realities and we think about stuff like BCI and all this crazy shit, we need to stay open-minded because the things that we are going to start to encounter are going to challenge our like normal 5 sensory perception perspective of everything. And we will probably have opportunities to experience things that would never be possible within the normal bounds of those senses. And who the fuck knows what happens when we start digging around in here? You know what I mean? Like shit might get super crazy. So I think it's important that we like roll with the punches. You know, we are cool with stuff and we maybe consider the fact that we fucking don't know anything and that it might get really super crazy. Like by definition crazy, like outside of what we currently know to be possible as a human. Like I seriously think that we are on the precipice of something absolutely fucking massive.
Yeah, VR is more than just video games, ladies and gentlemen. At least it is for us.
Ashley, we're going to start to close this up, but maybe you can just kind of collect your thoughts for us and give us some sentiments as we start to wrap it up.
Yeah, and just on that point, I think what's interesting is there are a lot of things that we use that we can't see, but they exist. And I think one that's been a big part of my life has been magnets. Magnetism, and I think that's a really good example of it. So it's like you can play with magnets, you can feel the force of the magnets, but you can't see the fields, but they are there, they're physically there. And if we had the ability to perceive them, then we would, and the world would look very different. And that's a very rudimentary and natural thing. And so I think, keeping an open mind is really important, especially when it comes to VR, AR, and just experiencing what it's like to be in someone else's shoes, what it's like to just be in someone else's brain, and to just learn things that maybe are outside of your comfort zone. And this is such an amazing platform for that.
Absolutely. And, you know, you got to think about the words virtual reality. All right. If you want to call this reality virtual, then you should probably start by defining reality. And I don't think we are close to having a definition for that yet. So we are going to be rewriting this definition as we continue to learn more about what it means to experience things, perceive stuff, and be a fucking human being. And VR is going to be a big part of that. AR is going to be a big part of that. And I am grateful that we have a platform like this to have this conversation because I think this is fucking cool. And I'm having a lot of fun talking about it.
Heck yeah. I agree. Having a lot of fun talking about it, living through this amazing time in our history, and just experiencing all these amazing things that I could never go out and experience without virtual reality.
And what's so cool, like I love seeing footage of people from like the 1920s guessing what like 2020 will be like. You know, like it's so interesting to have like hear their perspective. Like, oh, in the future this is going to happen. Oh, in the future that's going to happen. This is all chronicled. Like these conversations that we're having are evidence of how we perceived reality in this time. So we can always come back to this and like learn from the way we were trying to figure things out, and we can, or even if it's just purely novelty, and we're like like, wow, look at how silly we were. Like we had no idea. We were so close, you know, like it might be like that, you know, and I'm grateful that this is here. Like we can come back and listen to these conversations again. And it's not just us, there's evidence of humans everywhere having conversations, guessing, theorizing, hypothesizing, and dreaming.
Yeah.
And I think it's great.
Yep. Absolutely.
So Ashley Huffman, how best do we keep tabs on you? Like if we wanted to get in touch, if we wanted to become an Ashley Huffman fan, what is the best route?
Definitely follow me on Twitter at ChickTech. That's probably the best place. That's where I hang out. That's how I know you guys, which is awesome and hilarious. And then if you want to kind of get involved in the haptics world, you're interested, say you've got a hardware or you're a developer and you want to play with haptics, then you can reach out to me at ashley@titanhaptics.com. That's the go-to. And of course, join our Haptics Club. You can check it out on Twitter and LinkedIn. And you can just meet a bunch of really cool people in haptics and learn more about the space, whether it's academia, medical, automotive. And then check out, of course, my newsletter, haptics.substack, where I try to gather all this stuff in one place, because I'm no expert. You use the word expert, and I'm like, no. I'm just this girl who loves the space so much and is like I just want to learn like a sponge as much as I can. And I try to share all the stuff that I've sponged up, and I try to share it in ways that are easier so you don't have to do as much work. So that's how you can get a hold of me.
Absolutely. And I'm sure we have some links in the description.
We do. They're right on the monitor below me here. And also in the description, you can just clicky. Nice and easy.
Yeah, definitely check out the Haptics Club. What is it?
Sign
like
up for the newsletter.
It was like once like every couple weeks or something like that. How often do you do the Haptics Club?
Yeah, every other week we do it. So next week we're gonna have a guest who's in the automotive space, and she's a product manager. So it's like really tangible expertise on like developing haptics in cars and seats and steering wheels and why and how and from a product perspective, which is a really rare space.
And I urge everyone to check out the Haptics Club if you're interested in this space, because it's like an emerging club, which of course one day will be way larger than it is now, in my opinion. So this is a great opportunity to get in at something almost near ground level where it's still so intimate. Like you can connect with these people who like the speakers, like you can ask questions, like it's like an open discussion there, and it's a great platform. And I'm glad that you are utilizing the Twitter spaces so well. And I'm glad that you have joined us today. She had me on the Haptics Club some months ago, and I had a great time with that. And you guys go dig around and find my episode of the Haptics Club with Ashley. And now you're here, right? And this is just the beginning. We're just getting started, and we're going to keep having conversations like this one. And I hope that we will invite each other to continue to do this in the future.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, so much. I love you guys so much. You're so important in this space and appreciate everything you do, both here and your own kind of like side hustles, full-time hustles. Like, it's just amazing. This community is the most amazing community I've ever been a part of. So big shout out to all the VR folks. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you, darling. Thank you for joining us. Your words mean so much to us. And with that, we're going to just kick you off our ship just like that. So say goodbye, everyone, to Ashley. And thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. You've been awesome.
All right.
We'll catch you later.
It's enough, okay? It's plenty.
And there she goes.
Plenty. She's amazing. That was great. That was such a great conversation. And, chat today was awesome. I saw so much good shit there. I wish we could have pulled more into the conversation. But your guys' engagement, I see so many awesome thoughts. And like, thank you guys for taking this shit seriously, and like having these conversations with us. Like, sometimes I just feel like I'm just some fucking Sedona hippie who smoked too much weed and now just like talks about stupid shit, but like when we open it up and we allow other people to contribute and like bring more to this, it makes me realize that maybe we might be onto something. Like maybe this might actually be something really beautiful, really awesome. And I feel so grateful in the wake of American Thanksgiving for all of this. I am grateful for everybody.
Yeah, I hope everyone here in the States that's celebrating Thanksgiving or celebrated Thanksgiving yesterday had a fantastic day. I am thankful for all of you guys. I'm thankful for everyone in the VR community and for all of this that we're able to be a part of. I'm super grateful.
Things could be a lot fucking worse, dude.
Yeah, they could.
They could.
Yep.
Now, I've been waiting to fucking talk about next week.
Dude. We have a cool bonus episode coming up on Wednesday.
Traveling Man, $5. Great show. Glad you guys exist.
Thank you.
We're not sure we exist yet. We're talking about it. We might exist. We might not.
Exist in a couple different realities, but it all might be bullshit.
Well, we're happy you guys exist. Thank you for being here. So anyway, next week, dude.
Wednesday. So when I go back and look at video games in my history personally in video games, there is no other title that I put so many thousands of hours into than the title that this guy, Marcus Henderson, was the co-founder of and co-created Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and Unplugged VR.
What the fuck? We're going to have the creator of Guitar Hero on our show?
Dude, yes. Yes.
Dude, Guitar Hero is insanely huge. That is like massive.
I've never put so much time into a game. I used to shred that game. Every song on every game I would do expert, like just I can't even tell you the impact that this one person has had on my life. Like it's just bananas.
This one person whose name we didn't really
Marcus
know.
Henderson. Yeah, Marcus Henderson was so excited. He also he came in and helped with the development of Unplugged VR, which is a Guitar Hero like game in virtual reality that utilizes hand tracking. It's probably the best hand tracking app that there is, in my opinion. It works so freaking well. But this person, it's just so cool, man.
This
like,
is some legendary shit.
Like little kid me would be freaking out right now.
Yeah, next Wednesday, bonus episode with the fucking creator of Guitar Hero and Rock Band. No
And
big
Unplugged.
deal. Just and unplugged, yeah, right. Just chilling on Between Realities. So that's going to be on Wednesday, and we'll have a guest, of course, for everyone joining us on Friday,
Absolutely.
who we will reveal at that time.
Yes, and that episode on Friday is going to be an early episode. We do have some things going on, and we want to be able to get some people that don't normally get to join us live to be able to come in and join us live as well, because we miss the earlier crowd as well.
Yep. So next Friday we'll do an earlier show so we can get on the road and head out to LA and go to VR or not VR LA, but
Los Angeles Comic-Con.
Los Angeles Comic-Con. Yep. Nice. So anyway, pretty freaking stoked over here, peeps. Creator of Guitar Hero and Rock Band next week on Between Realities on Wednesday. Anything else?
That's it, man. Thankful for you all yet again. Love you guys.
Love you. See you later, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.